And good evening, and welcome to the second edition of Missouri Golf Live. We are ready for the second edition of Missouri Golf Live. Great to have you on this Friday night before the huge week of golf in the state of Missouri. I'm Jay Randolph Jr., and we've got a number of different people that are going to get involved tonight. Hope you enjoyed our first show last week. This week, we're going to focus a little bit on country club life, but we're going to get things started talking about tournaments and what's coming up next week in the state of Missouri, because it's going to be a huge week for the game of golf. Let's bring in my dad, Jay Randolph. Some call him Senior. Senior, how are you this evening?
I'm very, very good and very interested and happy to be a part of this.
This is all new technology for you and kind of a benchmark for you, huh?
Well, it really is, and thanks to your son, we're operating efficiently at the moment.
Also with us tonight, as I mentioned, talking a little bit about country club life. The number one golf course in the state of Missouri is Dalhousie Golf Club in Cape Girardeau. Their director of golf, their main man, Bill Morrow, is with us tonight. Hello, Billy.
Hello, Jay. How are you, buddy?
I'm outstanding. Looking forward to talking to you in just a couple of minutes about Dalhousie, the number one golf course in the state. And also with us tonight is the man that puts this all together for us with the Missouri Golf Network, Mr. Randy Minshew, also involved with Golf Around STL. He's got more jobs than a Jamaican. Randy's got so many jobs, it's unbelievable. Randy, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here. I just made a comment a minute ago looking at Jay Sr. there. I feel like I'm watching golf on TV from days gone by. So,
well, that's where we're going to start a little bit with the golf that'll be on TV this weekend, Jay Sr. It's Jack Nicklaus's tournament. It's the Memorial. It's the 40th anniversary of the Memorial Golf Tournament. And it looked like yesterday the story was going to be Rory McIlroy, and I guess in a sense he still is the story after the second round. Rory opened with 63 off his win over the pond at Wentworth in England, but he backed it up with a 78 today. He had a stretch where he made 3 consecutive double bogeys, and Rory now just barely in the top 20 going into the weekend.
Very interesting, to put up a score like that yesterday, and you and I were talking about it. What a remarkable round it was, and then to falter so badly today, but he might have hit a wall. He's really been under a lot of pressure and really been doing a lot of traveling, and I think maybe he just it's hard for me, as good as he plays, to think that he could shoot that number there today, but the golf course is getting a little tougher. It's drying out. They say they're not going to have any rain tomorrow or Sunday. It should be a tremendous tournament, and I was thrilled to learn that St. Louis and Scott Langley had a wonderful round today. He made the cut. It was interesting that Justin Rose missed the cut by a shot after a penalty was called, one-shot penalty was called against him after the round was completed for double hitting a ball on the back nine. But all in all, they have a great golf course there. Jack has nurtured that event for 40 years now, as you mentioned, and certainly I'm excited to see what happens there tomorrow and Sunday.
Well, not only did Scott Langley make the cut, the man shot 6 under today, finds himself in the top 10. It's been an interesting season for the young man from Parkway South High School and the University of Illinois. He's played much more consistent this year. He's starting to make more cuts, but it's really great to see him make a move on a Friday, shoot the Route 66 on that golf course. Senior, that's a heck of a round of golf by him on a Friday afternoon. You know, Saturday's moving day, but he may have made a move today.
Well, he did make a move today. It's wonderful to see him play that well there. And he's had a pretty good year already. And he needs to continue to make cuts and get those FedEx points. And he's well on his way, of course, to having really a remarkable season for a very young man who is, I'm sure, learning and maturing as he goes along.
Before we get to what's going to take place next week in the state of Missouri with the Champions Tour in Branson and the Curtis Cup and the AJGA in St. Louis. Senior, I did want to talk quickly about the U.S. Open qualifying on Monday. Our buddy Skip Berkmeyer, part of the Missouri Golf Network, is going to be playing at what they consider a tour qualifier at Colonial Country Club in Memphis, Tennessee. Skip's going to be paired with Chad Campbell, the big Texan. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Skip does. We've also got John Kelly, the former runner-up in the U.S. Amateur. He was an alternate at the qualifier at the Bluffs, but he got in the U.S. Open sectional because somebody dropped out, so he will be in as an alternate. And we've also got Adam Long from the St. Louis area, all going to be part of that longest day of golf on Monday. Opportunities to play in our National Open at Pinehurst. What a day Monday's going to be.
Absolutely, and there's going to be a big crowd down there at Memphis. 36 holes at Colonial Country Club. Very good golf course. Very testing golf course. It might remind one a little bit of Belle Reve, and I certainly am rooting for all of the fellas who are from our area who's going to have an opportunity down there. It's a pretty interesting field. I mean, there are an awful lot of good players in that field, but Skip, of course, is playing in Birmingham this weekend in a Mid-Am tournament there at Country Club of Birmingham. I just hope he can have his game get in shape. I know you were very impressed when you saw him win the Normandy Amateur a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Skip's playing very well. It's a tall order, obviously, for an amateur, especially not a college amateur type player to make a U.S. Open, but he's in a good space right now, so we're wishing Skip the best of luck on Monday and this weekend in Birmingham. Well, next week is such a big week that we were able to talk to the governor of the state of Missouri today. He came on to talk about golf in the state with us on the radio, and he's a big sportsman. When you look at next week with the AJGA here, which we talked about last week, and the Curtis Cup in St. Louis, and then that field that's going to assemble for the Champions Tour at Big Cedar Lodge for the Legends event, it's a giant week for golf, and the governor wanted to talk about the impact that it's going to have on the state and what golf means. It was pretty cool to talk to the governor, and next week's going to be a great week, Senior.
Absolutely. Governor Nixon is a big sports fan, and he is really excited about the action and we're going to have in Branson, Big Cedar Lodge, and a par 3 event down there. Nicholas and Trevino there, and Gary Player and Tom Watson, and it should be a fascinating time. He's going to get to play with Watson, I understand, our Ryder Cup captain, and Tom's been playing pretty well, incidentally. It's amazing that swing of his doesn't seem to ever change, but a wonderful event from the standpoint of focusing on golf in Missouri, and it'll be a real good boon, I'm sure, for the weekend down there financially for that area. And what a story that is down at Branson and what they've been able to do down there over the years. And then to have the Curtis Cup here in St. Louis at historic St. Louis Country Club is just, if those of you who may not know, there's no charge to go and watch the Curtis Cup. And the best young women players in the world from the United States, Great Britain, and Ireland competing in a terrific event. If you get a chance to get to St. Louis Country Club next weekend, go and see these wonderful players perform, and you're able to walk. There are no ropes. You're able to walk right along with the players and watch the action up close and personal. And if you've never had a chance to see St. Louis Country Club, C.B. McDonald did a remarkable job of architecture there, and the club is a special place. Snead lost the Open there in '46. Dean Beeman, who later became commissioner of the PGA Tour, he won an amateur there. But it's just a fabulous golf course. And then, of course, as you talked about the AJGA, I can't get over the fact that they have grown so quickly and done such a wonderful job for the youngsters in this country. I can remember going with you to a couple of AJGA events when you were 15, 16, and they have just done a marvelous job how they've handled the tremendous growth that they've had.
Well, let's talk about golf in the state of Missouri. And when you talk about golf in the state of Missouri, you start with the #1 golf course. That is Dalhousie Golf Club in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. It's a dream of Cord Dombrowski, and he found a man that he trusted to run the operation for him, and that's Bill Morrow, PGA of America golf professional and also director of golf down there at Dalhousie. How good is Dalhousie right now, Bill? I bet that golf course is looking great.
It is looking great. I mean, we had a few fairways with some winter kill, like a lot of the other facilities in St. Louis with the bad winter we had. So we had a couple fairways that we need to resod, but besides that, the golf course is perfect. And just to go back on what Senior said about the AJGA, you know, we held the girls championship last year at Dalhousie, and that was the 75 of the best girls juniors in the world, and they really do a great job with that. They set it up like an LPGA event, and you can't say enough about that organization. And Rolex is behind it. They got some great sponsors, and they're a really well-run organization.
Well, I know how much you enjoyed having the AJGA there last year for one of their signature championships, and it's kind of one of the things that Mr. Dombrowski and you have really wanted to do. You've wanted to have Dalhousie host events. It's been kind of a major theme for you. You've held the Missouri Amateur. You guys are going to be involved in the USGA state team event. Why is tournament golf important to Dalhousie Golf Club?
Well, you and I both know. I mean, it's up to Cord Dombrowski. I mean, he owns the facility, and he's a big believer in growing the game. I mean, we've had the high school girls championship, the boys high school championship, the AJGA events, the accelerated golf tour, the Gateway PGA Juniors events, and all of us that know golf. I mean, those are not revenue events. Those are just events that make golf better and grow the game. And Cord is a big component of that. And this game of ours has to grow. It's got to evolve. It can't be the way it used to be. And Cord does that. He gives his golf course up sometimes, and our members do. And it's just a great way to grow the game.
Jay Sr., you have been on the property. You know how much of a golfer's paradise, really, Dalhousie is. It's similar. I know one of the places they looked very closely at was the Honors Course in Tennessee, which we got to play. It's a national golf club. Explain to our viewers a national golf club, Senior, and why Dalhousie fits in that mold.
Well, that's the way Cord wanted to do it, and Jack and Gary Nicholas built him a wonderful golf course there. At the same time, they have their cottages, and the members can bring their guests and stay in the cottages. There are over, I think, between 15 and 20 states represented in their membership. It's a destination that has become very popular because of the golf, because of the facilities, because of Bill Morrow and his staff, and the five-star dining, an award-winning clubhouse. It's just a remarkable destination if you're a golfer and want to really have a weekend or a few days when you're having the opportunity to live high and at the top of the list. It's just a great spot, and I'm glad we have it. And as you mentioned, the Honors Course, of course, it really reminds me a lot of the Honors Course and some of the other places where there are opportunities for people to go and play and stay and enjoy the amenities of the club. And I'm very proud to say that Mr. Dombrowski, who's been a good friend, and Bill, of course, they're doing a terrific job there, and it really is something we all should be proud of. And that note that Bill said a few minutes ago about Cord growing the game, that's what our friend Tom O'Toole, the president of the USGA, and his people are trying to do. That's what the folks at the PGA Tour are trying to do. And I think we're seeing the LPGA make quite a comeback with their new commissioner and their new schedule. So it's good news for golf these days.
back to you, Bill. In terms of, I think people may not understand necessarily when they think a national club, they might think it's, well, that's out of my price range or whatever. You guys have some great opportunities for people in the St. Louis area, in the Kansas City area, throughout the state, where they can become members at a fair price.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's just by coincidence. I mean, Muirfield is probably the #1 national club in the United States. I mean, and just to make it simple, people who don't understand what a national club is just a golf club that has members. That's normally a secondary club for members that belong to a country club in in a city or wherever they belong to, and it's a secondary club that you visit 5-6 times a year, and that's exactly what Muirfield is. That's what we are. So. Yeah, it's not as expensive as you would think for the quality of golf that you would get at Dalhousie. And I'm here to say, I mean, I've been very blessed to be able to play a lot of the top 100 golf courses in the world. And on my reputation, the Dalhousie compares with anything. And with Court and Nicklaus and the ground there is just, I've never heard anybody complain about it since I've been there. And it's a great piece of property.
No, it's a signature track in the state of Missouri, and as Senior said, we're lucky to have it. Before we let you go, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. A, who do you like at the U.S. Open in a couple of weeks at Pinehurst? And B, what's your favorite hole at Dalhousie?
Those are good questions. My favorite hole at Dalhousie actually is number 13. It's pretty. It's for a couple reasons. One, Cord Dombrowski designed the hole, and after Jack and Gary spent some time with Cord, they realized that he did a lot of research on bunkering and design, and they got to the hole, and then Jerry and Jack just said to Cord, you go ahead and design this one. So, and it's an unbelievable view. And, with my relationship with Cord, that's probably one of the reasons I picked that hole. And, too, it's just a great golf hole. It's just a great par 3. It's something that you'd see in Scotland. The U.S. Open, you got to go with somebody. I'd love to pick Phil Mickelson, but he has not had one top 10 yet this year, and I think it would be a great story for him to win. But I really don't think he will win. And, from my competitive days playing competitive golf, you got to hit it straight in the U.S. Open, so you got to go with somebody that's hitting it really straight at this time. And, you'd like to pick a guy like Bubba or somebody like that. But he hits it straight enough. I would say a guy almost like Steve Stricker. I don't know what you think, Junior, but what do you think about that pick?
I like the Steve Stricker pick. That's a solid play. Well, we'll let you get to your Friday night festivities. We do thank you for taking time to join us, and we do appreciate everything you do down at Dalhousie, and we'll talk to you down the road, my man.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a good night.
You got it. That's Bill Morrow, the director of golf at fantastic Dalhousie Golf Club in Cape Girardeau. As I said, if Billy doesn't bark it out that often, but if you are a member of a golf club in the state of Missouri or in St. Louis, you can ask your golf professional if you want to play Dalhousie to maybe extend a call down to Bill, and Bill probably can make things work for you. So it's good to talk to Bill Morrow and Jay Sr. We were there for the State Amateur, and they really ran that event in fantastic fashion with the Missouri Golf Association and Scott Hovis and his crew. It was a first-class event down there at Dalhousie, the State Amateur. Unfortunately, our partner Skip Berkmeyer was runner-up.
Well, he played very well. The fellow that he played against that day just had himself a terrific round, but as I like to say, Dalhousie is a magical place.
And you do like to say that. That is for sure. Well, let's bring in the man that kind of puts all this together and has got so many different growing pieces to the puzzle to help people involved in the golf business and beyond. He's Randy Minshew with the Missouri Golf Live and the Missouri Golf Post. And like I said, about 50. He can't carry a business card because there's so many jobs that he's got. Randy, we wanted to talk a little bit tonight about the concept. We got a little time at the end of the show to kind of talk about what we're trying to do with Missouri Golf Live, Missouri Golf Post, and some of the different arms that you've created.
Well, thank you, Jay, and I appreciate that. We're, if you look around the state at the amount of golf that can be played, the courses, the quality of the courses that are played, that you can play on. I mean, that needs to be covered. It needs to be told. Somebody needed to create sort of a portal for that to be shared. And we started out trying to build sort of a social network for golfers around the state, and then it's just evolved. And we have our partnership with Jim Vastion. We call him JJ, who does the post, and a lot of people are in golf around St. Louis and around the state know JJ, and so he does the post with us. We've got connected with you and Skip on the radio show, and we're trying to get that syndicated out across the state so we can cover, talk about golf. I mean, I think in the end, if you talk about something, if you keep it at the top of everybody's mind, I think golf is one of those things where, we all love to play it. A lot of us grew up playing it, but it's just like anything else. It competes for time on TV. It competes for time in front of people. There's so we're working with the golf courses, we're working with the golfers, and we're trying to build a platform that just talks about Missouri. So I'm really excited, and of course honored to have Jay Sr. on with us tonight. It's just, to me, we've been working, my team, Corbin Umstead and JJ and Mike, our graphic arts people, and then we work very closely with the Missouri Golf Association with Scott Hovis and Karen Rathel, and then Karen Johnson from the Missouri Women's Golf Association. So we're trying to, our motto is we celebrate the people who play the game of golf in Missouri. And so, we're trying to get all of that tied together and then try to, so raise all the ships, if you will, along with the other associations in the other in the other cities with the Kansas City Golf Association and the Metro in St. Louis. So we're just trying to give a portal. We're trying to give a multimedia platform for people to talk about golf, where people can find out about golf, where they can buy golf. And so,
yeah, I think it's a unique concept. As somebody who, when I first started doing golf on the radio, thanks to a guy named Rich Gray in 1992, people thought we were crazy. Golf on the radio, that hadn't been done since the 40s. That hadn't been done since Senior was listening as a kid. But it worked out. And, that's been kind of one of the unique things, Senior. I mean, when I say Google Hangout, you don't know from Adam, but you're there, my man.
Yeah, it's amazing what has happened in the coverage of the game. Certainly I was really thrilled and congratulate NBC and the Golf Channel for their coverage of the Collegiate Championship this past week out in Kansas. It was exciting, entertaining, groundbreaking coverage, and you get an idea that a lot of these guys that are playing college golf today will be out there on that tour knocking on the money door pretty soon, because they are really some remarkable players. And I got a great kick out of being able to watch that final between Alabama and Oklahoma State and the 5 matches of match play. It was terrific for the game of golf and for college golf in general, I believe. But it's fascinating to see the game growing today, and we want to keep the game growing. It is, I believe, the most wonderful game individually in the world of sport, and I'm thrilled that I've had so many years to cover it and have so many friends in the game and have really seen it grow. I'm a person that loves the game, and I love the people involved in the game and the people who work very hard to put the game on now. Really, I think what has happened at the Golf Channel has been an absolute renaissance as far as coverage of sports goes. It's been fabulous.
One thing I got to ask you before we close, Senior, and then I got one more for Randy. and again, we're just hanging out. It's a Google Hangout, and we appreciate everybody doing it with us. I knew this about you, but it really hit me today. You not only have known Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, you met their dads.
That's right.
Two very I mean, that's pretty unbelievable. You met Deke Palmer and Jack Nicklaus's father. Kind of finish us up on that note before I mess with Randy one more time.
Well, of course, I first met Nicklaus and his father when I was getting set to play in the North-South Amateur at Pinehurst, and Jack was 16 years old. His dad was a member of the Tin Whistles organization, a golfing society at Pinehurst, and I had an opportunity to watch Jack hit some balls in the side practice area off the first fairway, and it was eye-opening, I can tell you that. This kid was unbelievable, and in fact, I had breakfast with him the next morning, and it was a terrific visit, one I will never forget. Jack's dad was a pharmacist in Columbus, Ohio, and a very interesting guy, and Jack was a outstanding basketball player.
Right.
And people, not too many people realize that he was very, very good in that area too. But he's been so remarkable. If you look at his record and look at the way he played the game and look at the way he has presented himself over the years, and he's married to one of the great ladies, Barbara, they've been a great team. And, of course, Arnold's father, Deke, was a rough, blue-collar guy, greenskeeper, and I remember Arnold telling me the story once about the fact that he was watching Arnold play in a junior tournament, and Arnold threw a club. And after the round was over, he merely took him aside and said, "If I ever see you throw a club again, you will never play golf again." And that was Deke. He was tough. But I've been very fortunate, of course, to have some great friends in the game. Those two guys that you mentioned, and work with Arnold Palmer and Bob Golby on television for so many years, and covered so many events. I've been very fortunate.
Well, I'm glad you didn't tell me that if I was through a club, that would be the end of it, because I threw more than one club, as you know. So I'm glad you weren't Deke. Before we say goodnight to Senior, Randy, let me ask you a question. The opportunity is there, as we talked about, with all these different platforms that you're putting together. I think it's going to be a real good opportunity for businesses that are either in the golf business or want to be associated with the golf business to get involved. I'm doing a little plug, yeah, I know, but I think it's a good idea for people to know conceptually that they're going to have a lot of different avenues to get involved with golf.
Well, that's right, and I mean, what we can do for someone, for the right customer, for a Portachima or for an Old Kinderhook or the resort golf that's at the lake or Branson, or for the group that just got started in St. Louis, Golf Around STL. We got contacted by a group in Arkansas this month, Executive Golf Packages, and they're this concierge service where you can call them and they'll set up a golf trip for you. So we're seeing those people. They're coming to us because we've got the ability to spread the word about their product, and so it's no different than the Golf Channel or anybody else, except we're just talking about Missouri. We're talking about golf in Missouri, and we're trying to cover it. Corbin and I back at the office with JJ and our friend Trent Pogue is going to help us out this coming. Because we've got the Curtis Cup, we've got the AJGA, we've got the Legends tournament down in Branson. We've got 2 cameras. So we're going to be, if you see somebody on Route 44 just going crazy up and down 44, that'll be me, because I'm going to try to cover all of that stuff between me and Corbin and JJ, and of course with Trent helping us out there too. So, we're doing the best we can with it, and we're really excited. We welcome any inquiries, obviously, for the right people who are looking to get the word out with us or sponsor the idea. And I want to make sure I mention that one of the things that sort of motivated me to do this, when I moved to town in '94, I played golf. I played golf all the time. I played a lot of the courses here in St. Louis. Now I'm a member at the Columbia Country Club. But it was just a few years ago before I knew what the Missouri Golf Association was. And I thought I was really well connected. And, I got with Scott Hovis and I said, I don't think everyone knows about the MGA. And I don't think they know that you should have your handicap through your local golf association. You should keep your USGA handicap that way. So coming in as someone from an outsider from the state of Texas and not knowing everything that was available in Missouri, I felt like I had a perspective on it maybe that some of the people who had been here their whole life didn't have. And so I think I think that's sort of the premise that it's not unusual in life for people to think that everyone knows what they're doing. And the reality is you got to talk about it a lot. The MGA, the Missouri Golf Association. I mean, I don't know how long that it was in front of me before I finally went, oh, I guess that's where I should hold my handicap. And so that's what we're trying to do, just get that word out to golfers around the state. And it's like Senior said, what a game. I mean, I taught my son to play. It's just, golf is one of those things that bonds people like no other. And we've got so many golf courses to play in Columbia. I mean, in Columbia, obviously, but also in the state of Missouri. There's not enough time, so I mean that's the only problem I've got is that I'm too busy doing all this golf business, and now I'm playing less than I was. It's really that part I don't like, but. Anyway.
Yeah, people that get into the golf business to play golf quickly learn they won't be playing much golf. Randy, have a great weekend. I want to say some thank yous, obviously, to Bill Morrow, to Randy Minshew for making this possible, Chad Lafarge and Corbin, who help us out on the back end and make it click, my son Jennings, who helped get Senior on the air. Senior, I'm going to let you say goodbye to everybody tonight, all right, my man?
Well, this has been a real joy, Jay. Thank you. And Randy, best to you and all of your group. I think you really got something going here, and I was indeed honored to be with you this evening. And everybody have a great weekend, and next week should be dynamite.
Way to go, Senior. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.